Corner Crew? Welcome back to another episode of the Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast. I am your host, as always, Brad Baily. Shout out to y'all for tuning back in with us. We took a little hiatus last week, but, we back. We doing it. I hope y'all been catching up on our other shows also on YouTube. We have Masters of the Gameverse with Charlotte Mental and DOS. We have Culture Corner Wrestling with myself, Shah, and King Charisma, and we got a lot of other dope shit coming up real soon. But without further ado, I want to bring up my guest. He's straight out of Mississauga, Canada, former CFL player, offensive lineman, rapper. So he's just been ripping people up in two sides of our entertainment world. Let's bring up Len-Dor, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man.
What up, bro? What up? Welcome to the Hip Hop Happy Hour, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you. I really appreciate this. Thanks a lot.
I'm glad you joined us. Hell yeah, I appreciate you being on, man. For real. But you know how we do it. If you've watched the show before, we like to ask, tell us who you are and what you're about.
Oh, okay. Well, as you rightfully said, I'm a former football player for a few years ago. I've been doing hip hop for quite a while, even before my professional career. Basically, bro, I'm the average cat when it comes to aspiring for the dreams. You know what I mean? Always pushing himself, always trying to reach our next level, trying to take on new things and try to get better, not only at the craft, but there's information-wise learning. So that's just me.
Yeah, definitely. You got to always keep learning. That's one thing we have to strive for. And no matter what age we get to, we learn new things every day. That's not just a saying. That shit's for real. Like, it really is a real thing if you're paying attention. Some people don't pay attention, so they ain't learning.
True.
But we see this every day. So tell us about your start in your hip-hop career.
Oh, man. So basically, I start off, I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, raised in Trinidad and Tobago. The two producers I grew up with, Rook Beats and Silence, we were close friends growing up, and they were the engineers, and basically I was trying to be an MC at that point in time. I have to put it like that, trying. So we collaborated after an entertainment show. The internet cafe that I worked at, they used to have these open mics.
Yep.
And they saw me perform, and then, we just came together. And over the years, we stuck, and it's over 20 years of friendship, and we just kept hanging out together, pursuing music together. For me back then, I didn't really take it seriously though, because I was just, you're in that phase where you're just freestyling and rapping. You think that's the thing to do. I didn't start taking it seriously until when I retired from football, which was 2016. And all of us got back in touch, and, they asked me, okay, so what's going on? And I started back recording over the COVID. So in 2019, 2020, the first joint I wrote was a conscious track. And with that being said, it just kept spreading over. And before I knew it, I invested in purchasing different pieces at that time to form my own studio in my room. And the rest is history, man. I just started cooking from there and dropping music and putting stuff out, and the ball just kept rolling, and we're here.
Definitely. Now, what would you say that your style is?
Oh, man. Well, definitely my style, I would like to say, is I try to write on impactful things that people can relate to. I'm not a superficial rapper. I'm not a rapper talking about keys and coke and hoes and all this shit. That's maybe when I was younger and dumb back then, but now where I'm at right now in my life, I'm not that. So if I were to give myself a comparison to who I would consider how I write and the things I write about, I would probably put myself in the likes of guys like Odyssey, guys like Black Thought, and those dudes who really give you those heart jerkers, who make you sit down and think and force you to really sit down and absorb information that you wouldn't usually absorb. So for me, that's my thing. The guys like Odyssey, I probably Black Thought, I probably a little bit of Talib Kweli influence in there. And then at the same time too, I have a big passion in being abstract. So a lot of the guys I try to look at when it comes to abstract work is guys like Markami, Estanak, Al Divino. You know what I mean? These type of dudes who have these real irregular type of styles, Rock Marciano and these guys who kind of like, you know, they're on that wave of true hip hop identity where they're not afraid to experiment. They're not afraid to like venture out on different aspects when it comes to patterns of music, styles of looping, like those guys, like Alchemist and those dudes. So that's the realm I see myself.
They're all those guys that you mentioned. They're all creating their own wave.
Exactly.
They
yes.
are. They very much are, and especially in our independent scene.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that are the different dudes. Like when you hear them, you know, oh, this is something different that we're not going to hear. Like you said, there's a lot of rappers out there, Griselda and those dudes, Coke Rap, and it's like, you know, dudes our age, we don't want, like we said earlier, you got to learn every day. You learn something new, so you have to grow with it. And there's nothing wrong with the Coke Rap and gangster rap and shit that if people want to listen to it, but it can't be consumed on a daily basis.
Absolutely not.
It's almost like social media will rot your brain if you consume it, and that's it.
Correct.
So what do you feel about social media and its climate in the hip hop world nowadays?
All right, so that's two loaded questions. How I feel about social media? I think social media is an asset according to what is the perspective and the purpose. How it is now, I think it's not being used right in certain people's situations, but it's definitely an asset that I try to use on a daily basis. First, begin with it's free, right? Second, begin with you could harness your own audience according to how you put yourself out there, right? What I think of what the climate when it comes to social media and music right now, you're getting everything. You're getting good, bad, and the ugly. You're getting people who are weekend rappers, and you're getting people who are very serious with the craft. It's up to you to really try to siphon through to see who you want to be a part of and who you don't want to be a part of, and that's what it is to me. But I think social media is a double-edged sword. You could use it for great things or for debasement. It's all according to you.
It really is, and you're right about that. You're getting the good, bad, the ugly. It's a shame that the ugly is the most seen thing out there. It doesn't matter. Like something could be great and not heard of, but there could be just some wild shit going on, and people eat it up. You get millions of views on just some dumb shit.
Yes.
Like Island Boys or something similar to that. It's like, what are we doing as a society here? What are we doing? So you're on the opposite side of the world, basically, from us over here on the East Coast of the United States. You're on near the West Coast of Canada, correct?
Mississauga is sort of like that. It's sort of like the middle.
Yep.
It's kind of like it's you could say that it's sort of like the Midwest, sort of where it is.
So what was that scene like trying to break into?
Well, as I said, I played football out here for a bit. So in the realm of football, it's exciting. But when I started really delving into the hip hop part of it, I was shocked. I was really shocked at how much depth there is in hip hop here. And then when you started to look at the dudes who contributed a lot to hip hop, and the dudes who are very much here who are still invested in working and putting out their craft and stuff, man, Mississauga could be like a little New York when it comes to like actual hip hop music. But it's very boom bap based here, which I love. It's still holding on to the purity of boom bap. You know what I mean? Authentic shit, not song alikes, not wannabes, not new waves who think that they could try to do some freaky dumb shit. Like they're keeping the principles together and they're just finding ways to evolve from it, which I think is awesome.
That's great. It's wild to see how hip hop expands across the world and what actually holds on and what people gravitate towards. And boom bap is one of those things that a lot of the world does hold on to.
Yes.
It's not a passing fad in hip hop like trap music or something along those lines. It's something that you just said is ingrained in the culture. It really is. That's my favorite style of hip hop is boom bap. But I also lean towards more of a storytelling aspect of it too. I need you to talk to me. I need you to tell me something.
Yeah, something worthwhile.
Keep me engaged. Yeah, I mean, if it could be a fly ass beat, but if you're not saying anything, then what's really going on here? We have a lot of people out there that aren't saying anything.
No,
Which is it's very sad because you try to, as a fan and as someone that can influence other fans,
yes,
you try to help steer some of these artists and say, maybe you're not doing this the right way, maybe you're not doing that, and some of them get real hurt, man.
yes, and you have to be careful too, because I was just having a conversation with someone who I consider in the business here. Like, he's like a big brother to me when it comes to the business, and I'm starting to realize that what I've known, but for me, I like to give people content. I like to give people things they could hold, remember, absorb. The problem is now is that a lot of people have made the choice of more trying to be in the fad instead of actually coming with conviction. So you have a lot of rappers, they're going to be redundant because of the fact that they think that's what the in thing is to do. They think that if I'm rapping about drugs and keys and cocaine and all this shit and hoes or whatever, because they saw a guy who's getting visible off of that, they think that's the way to do. But they're completely forgetting that originality is what carries you in this business. Originality is what carries you. Originality is what keeps you afloat. Originality is what makes you stay in people's minds. So if you're a person trying to sound like the next man, well, guess what? People are going to see you like the next man. They're not going to see you as anything different. And what you speak about is very important. There's power in words. So for me, a lot of music I've released, I've tried to be real, and I've tried to teach in that process. I've never tried to fake it or try to act as if, like, I'm living this street life. Nah. I mean, when I was younger, I was an idiot when I first started out doing that, because you want to be like Dipset and all these other dudes. But as you got older, you start realizing that it doesn't make any sense. And it shows through your music too, because the true hip hop listeners are going to sit down and dissect you. They're going to look at you and they're going to realize that you're really living a costume, bro. You're not really doing what you're supposed to do or being who you're supposed to be. So you're correct.
Yeah, we liken that to almost like a alter ego situation.
Yeah.
Like you're the superhero, and who's the real character? Who's the real person? Is it the guy you're performing on stage as, or is it the guy that you're sitting at your home with your kids or your wife or your mom or your dad? Who is this real person?
Who are you? Yep.
Exactly. Some people know who they are right out the gate. Even as I'll say from my area, Chach. Shout out to Chach, man.
Yeah.
His birthday's today. Happy birthday, Chach. But he's like 24 years old, and this kid's got such a good head on his shoulders, business wise, music wise. He's got something to say. He's not one of these kids that are just gonna, all right, let me throw something on TikTok and hopefully it sticks. But let's switch it up for a sec. I want to know about your football career. That's pretty big, man. You played, I mean, like we talked about yesterday, a lot of Americans aren't really familiar with Canadian League football.
Right.
But that's a big fucking deal, man. You played professional football.
Well,
so what was that experience like?
So I got signed straight from my country, Trinidad and Tobago. So I never played football until I got to the CFL. That's one. Originally I was a basketball player. I started playing ball. I was supposed to go to a university in the US to play second division college basketball, sorry. And that fell through. And then the coach at that point in time, he was like, listen, you could pivot. You could go back into trying to get into another school or try another way. So the coach started getting my head wrapped around football. So I started doing a bunch of videos, showing my strength, my speed or whatever it is. And I started taking those videos and started just like sending it to all different universities and schools. Originally, I was supposed to go to a university first. So the university that accepted me here in Canada here was York University. And then I had a whole bunch of offers from schools in the US, from down south, Mississippi Gulf Coast, JUCOs, a bunch of different schools. So the agent I had at a point in time, the the defensive coordinator and the assistant head coach in Toronto Argonauts saw my film and they were like, "Now we need to have that here because you don't get 6'8", 350 pounds walking around just like that." So they brought me out here, they worked me out, and they plugged me with a position coach to try to teach me certain nuances and stuff like that. Because I didn't know what a playbook was until I saw it. Right. So my first year here was rough when it comes to understanding plays and schemes and different keys. So when that happened, Toronto Argonaut, we won the Grey Cup that year, and then they released me, and then I moved to the U.S. And when I moved to the U.S., I moved to Florida, and the agent there basically got me tied in with like arena football teams, and then I won a couple NFL tryouts. So basically, it was a good experience, like playing experience and being around other athletes and getting to realize that when you're walking the street as a normal person at 6'8" and change, you think you're a god. But then when you get on a field with 53 other people looking just like you, then you get to realize, you really have to fight. So it was a learning experience for me. It was something that I've realized not much in the population ever gets to do. So to live that dream or whatever it is, it was awesome. I mean, I had to whoop ass, which was even more fun. You know what I mean? Get a toss and throw people around for free and get paid for it, which is kind of cool. You know, but other than that, it was definitely a wonderful experience. It was. It really was.
Before you played football, did you watch football? Did you ever watch American football?
Absolutely. Yeah. You watch football all my life for a good while in my life because in the Caribbean, you get everything like in the US. You get cable, you get all the sports channels, you get everything. My thing is that I love the basketball first. So my family's lineage when it comes to sports on my father's side was basketball and cricket. So I followed after my uncle who played for a university, UCLA University in the US. So I had three uncles who played basketball. My father was the only one who did not play basketball. He played cricket. So I got into soccer first, and then from soccer, I got into basketball. And I played basketball for a few years, dunked on people, dominated people. And then the football opportunity came. And that was to me, I think football gave me a better command of my skills physically than basketball. I mean, don't get me wrong, basketball is a hell of a competitive sport, but football is a different breed. It's a different way of preparation. It's a different thinking. It's a different mindset. It's a lot more thinking than people think it is too. It's a very thinking game, and you have to process things very quickly.
Yeah, and it's much more physical.
Yeah, the preparation.
I'm a little familiar with cricket, so I can't imagine a 6'8", 350-pound cricket player out there. No,
my dad was 6'7". He played cricket. He was a fast bowler. So yeah, so they are tall cricket players. They usually use them for throwing the ball because of the velocity it could generate.
Right.
So, you know,
that's wild though.
Yeah,
it's pretty. Yeah. That's got to be intimidating too.
Yeah, it is. If you're a batsman, yeah. If you're a batsman, it is.
That's got to be pretty intimidating shit.
You can get hurt.
What lessons did you take from the football field into the music world?
I'll tell you from what I've learned that I use now in my music right now. I've learned to be much more strategic. I've learned to be more patient too, though. Right. Because now in the way how the landscape of music is now, everyone wants to make it, and no one is taking the time to perfect their craft. No one is taking the time to actually give people product. So football taught me that, if it takes you 600 hours to learn one stance or one set or one move or understand this one scheme and this play and how to approach it, that's how I approach music. So for me, before I even, just before we got on here, I was just putting together a chorus for a song. I just started recording it. And I've learned now to look at things 3 and 4 times over, because sometimes if you go on your very first inkling, that could be the wrong process stage altogether. Sometimes you get too excited until you sit back and realize, you know what? No, I probably could approach this differently. I could say this differently. I could do this differently. Also, in the marketing of my music as well, to my product and my music, how I want to present myself online too as well. That's what football has taught me as well too. How you want people to perceive you, how they want to see you, how people should see you when you operate, when it comes to your music, your performances, and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely it teaches you how to brand yourself.
Absolutely.
Really. Because that's one thing I think a lot of, especially independent artists, don't know how to do.
No.
Is to brand themselves properly and how to use social media, because in one vein they'll use it to promote themselves, but in the next two posts they'll use it as their own personal diary and be putting themselves out there a little too much.
Yeah.
And especially personally, if you want to create that mystique, you want to have that, like
Yes.
it said earlier, that alter ego. There is something to it.
Yes.
But you have to know where to draw those lines and how to work from it. A lot of people don't know how to do that. It's sad too, because you have some really talented dudes that just they shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, I'll say this, right? I've been one of those idiots in the past where I put my personal opinions out there, but my wife quickly spoke me out of it though. I think sometimes with us artists is that we could get too passionate about certain topics, and we have to learn to understand what is more important, your personal opinion or how people see you online when it comes to your music and your product. And sometimes your personal opinion isn't going to sway anybody. You just keep that to yourself and just keep on working on the bigger goal at hand, which is the goal of putting your music out and getting everything to people that be more into your craft instead of who you are when it comes to your personal opinions. Sometimes people don't care about that. People are never going to understand that, And if you really think about it in hindsight, when you go to a show, like I had the privilege of being around. So I work as a personal bodyguard to entertainers as well too. So I work with a lot of celebrities, from rest in peace Kobe Bryant to everyone, hip hop artists, Larry June, a lot of different LeBron James, a lot of people. And one thing I've learned to realize in seeing them interact with people is that no one cares about your personal opinion.
Right.
All people really care about is that we are next to you, or we have your t-shirt, or we have your jersey, or you sang that song. People don't really care about that. So no one is coming to ask you, hey, Brad, so what's your opinion on this? Nah, they don't really give a shit about that.
No, they don't.
Yeah, honestly. So people need to keep that shut. And I guilty as charged. I've been that type of person before. And now I've learned the point that's like, you know what? Just keep your mouth shut and just keep it moving.
Especially if it's not in your area.
Precisely.
If it's not in your lane, why even try bothering?
Why bother?
Right. Because you're just going to hit a wall, and you're going to hit the people that are going to get upset about it. You're going to have some people on your side, and you just know it's just how social media works nowadays.
Yeah.
You just don't. It's a hornet's nest. That why bother stirring up that hornet's nest?
Yep.
Working security for celebrities. I got 2 questions for you. Double-sided question.
Yeah.
I want to know who's the coolest one you've ever worked for.
Oh, bro.
And who is the worst one you ever worked for?
All right. So thank God I've been around. The ones I've been around have treated me quite well. The coolest person I ever messed with, bro, honestly, was Larry June. Because I didn't expect he was so cool to the point where it's like, so I was outside his bus and we were able to converse like how you and I were conversing. Like he didn't have that air of as if like I'm better than you, or that's your job, just watch my back and that's it, nigga. Like he didn't have that. His whole thing was like, I'll talk to anyone. And the beautiful thing about it, I had the opportunity to play my music for him. Like without even, like we started, because I'm a big fan of Larry June because of how he uses his voice. He has a very old school delivery, but it's how he harmonizes and sings, which is very impressive for someone with that type of heavy voice. So I remember asking him, bro, so how do you do that though? And he was like, he just sat there and leaned next to me. He was like, yo, man, this is such and such and such. And then he's like, well, I told myself, like, well, I do music too. He's like, oh, word, let me hear your shit. And so Bo Fat and I have a second album that we'll be releasing next year, which no one ever heard about yet, but it's dope. So I played him one of the joints off of that, and he heard it and he was impressed. And he wasn't like, some people will tell you that's dope because they're trying to get you off their back. No, he actually took the phone and he was like, bro, this is dope, though. That's why we get the illest thing I heard since I'm on tour. So he's that type of guy. He's real to the core, and his whole team is just like that. His whole squad is his road manager, Migs and all those other dudes who are around him, they are very nice, genuine people. No cap. The worst person I've ever had to deal with, bro. Right. I don't even, because it was his age. But he was a real, I don't know, probably because he was, a friend of mine explained to me later though, but Justin Bieber, bro.
Sounds about right.
Super dickhead, bro.
Sounds about right. Yep.
And the thing about it is with him is that the situation I had with him wasn't even a case of where it was like I was personal detailed to him. He came to the spot that we worked at. So we were like extra security though. And the owner assigned me to his spot to make sure he was good. So my first impression when I meet people, I try to shake their hand and give them a formal name of who I am or whatever it is and all this, and I'm assigned to you, whatever, whatnot. And this dude looked at my hand as if it was Ebola, bro. Right. Like he basically looked at me like, and then she's like, nah. So the dude who was next to him was this guy who was on the Disney Channel, a chubby dark kid, I forgot his name. He's another celebrity as well. But when he saw how Justin treated me, he looked at me and just said to me at the side, he said, don't worry about it, bro. So I got to understand exactly what it was. But Justin Bieber is probably the worst. Everyone else I've worked with has been exceptional. I've worked with everyone. I've worked with Drake Security. I've worked with every other singers, Black Eyed Peas, Taboo, Nelly Furtado. I worked with a lot of different celebrities who are absolutely great. Cardinal Fisher, who are actually great. Everyone. But yeah, he could be the worst. He could have been the one that I won't do it again. Even if I won't do it again because of how rude he was. But then again, when that happened, it was like 7-8 years ago. He was a young kid, so right. he was still probably in that realm where, you know, he was still probably getting bullied online. He still was trying to deal with his celebritism or whatever it is. But he probably was that one where it's like kind of like I would say was one of the rudest, one of the very, very rudest ones.
Yeah, around that era too, they said that about that kid, that he was wrapped up in his own shit.
He was in his own world.
He believed he was a god, and it's like, relax now. You're not. You're a pop star. And you're not a very good one at that. Just because you're a cute little boy, they're gonna love you, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? So
for me, it's the way I look back on it in hindsight, though, it's like he probably was just after being abused so much online, and people say raw shit about you and it hurts your feelings or whatever it is. You don't trust anyone, right? So everyone around you, you're not going to trust. But the thing is, I've been around other celebrities who. They were being dragged through the mud, and they didn't have that attitude. When Kobe was going through his shit, Kobe was quite the opposite. Kobe was an amazing dude. Kobe, Steve Blake, all those dudes are amazing dude. Even when LeBron was playing for Miami and he came here, amazing dude, cool dude. Udonis Haslem, all those guys, they were cool dudes. Samuel L. Jackson, Dennis Rodman, I met Khloe Kardashian. Real cool people, no bullshit. They weren't stuck up in any form or fashion. In fact, they understood that without you, I'm not safe.
Oh, for sure. And for the people that don't realize that, that's what is crazy to me. It's like you got this 6'8", 350-pound dude, trying to keep you safe, but you're not going to shake his hand. Like, are you crazy, bro?
That was a thing. So, but I mean, you know what? As time progresses, you know, people will grow, and they'll understand that, you know what, understand the error and their mistakes, and they'll look back at it and try not to repeat it. That's all I could say. But the best person I've been around to date, Larry June.
That's dope. But I want to move on to a little segment we have here. It's called "What's Your Issue." Now, what's your issue? I don't know if you've seen this before. I'm sure you have, but it could be a small, little, tiny pet peeve, or it could be an issue that you really want to talk about. So, Len-Dor, what's your issue, bro?
Does it have to be anything, or just solely on the music?
It could be anything you want. It's your issue,
bro. My issue right now, bro, is kind of like with music. I think now a lot of artists are starting to realize they're not who they think they are. And this whole numbers game that people are playing with, this whole streaming service, is really fucking up people's mind. People really are looking at zeros and ones and twos and really think that's how they class in society, or that's how they think they are in the real world. And the truth is, no, it ain't. And the unfortunate part is that just today or yesterday, I was watching 2 documentaries about the botting service and the streaming service. And a lot more people are coming out now and talking about it and being more open about it and being honest about it and realizing that a lot of these artists that we look on these numbers and think they have 15 billion streams and 2 million streams, whatever it is, those things are fake.
Yeah, they're not real. Streaming farms, man.
Bruh. And every day on my Instagram, someone is trying to reach out to me to purchase shit, to purchase a stream, to, your views are low, let me get them up for you, or let me do this for you. And then the other flip side are some of these DJs who want you to pay them to spin your music, right? Which I think this pay for play thing is another reason what is killing the game as well. So, for me, looking at all these dynamics are happening, I think that's one of the reasons it's kind of killing and suppressing a lot of good music, and it's also keeping the bullshit on top, because the guys who are basically perpetuating the bullshit has the money to keep his bullshit up there. But some of the guys who don't have that financial strength, but they're putting out good music, their music is falling through the cracks, and you're not hearing anything from them. So that's my pet peeve right now. My pet peeve is looking at these marketing schemes these people are coming up with, and a lot of these people are trying to basically, they're like the guy in the alley with a coat trying to sell you some stolen shit when it comes to views and streams, and they don't get anywhere. And just the other day, Spotify did a diagnostic on their software and found a whole bunch of artists where half of their following don't even exist.
Yep. You can buy streams. I get the same messages on Instagram. Give me $100, I'll get you 10,000 views and this many followers. But it's not organic. It's not real, and it doesn't equal out to anything, any real number. It's just that one subscriber number or that one view number.
I think the streaming service destroyed a lot of parts of music. Like that enthusiastic feeling you had when you're younger, where you go buy a CD, it killed that.
Yeah, done.
It killed that anticipation. So now people have all your music at this long fingertip, easy fingertip. They could just hear the intro, okay, stream it, and like, no. Back in my day, in the early 90s and 80s, where when you had a CD, you were seen as like a god in the hood. You bought this new Jay-Z, you bought this new CeeLo, you got the new Mobb Deep, you got the new Biggie Small. You were seen as like a god, and you cherish that shit.
Hell yeah.
Now, people don't have to do that no more. All people do right now is like, is your shit on Spotify? Okay, let me go look it up, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
we're all guilty of it too. We all are guilty of it because it's such easy access.
I think they should curve that though. I think they should start curving. I think they're starting to do it now because everyone realizes that the jig is up and no one is really trying to work as hard as before now. So a lot of I've seen, at least for me, I've gone to shows and where I perform, I still have my CDs and I still sell them. And I'm shocked that people still buy them. And I try to make my stuff collectible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I try to make my stuff where when you get a CD from me and you open that booklet and you look at it, it looks like something like when you bought your very first Nas or your very first DMX. You take that shit and chuck it away in your corner. You don't want anyone touch it. You don't want anyone scratch it. That's the kind of memorabilia that I try to do with my music and my merch and stuff like that.
And that's the stuff that I buy. I want something that's limited. I want something exclusive because, like you said, it's not like back when we were kids and you go and you get that CD. And if somebody scratched your CD, you were fighting over that shit. And you remember those days. But that's why if you're going to put, I tell, and the artists that I fuck with, I'll tell them, put out something different. Make some different merch. Slap your logo on a water bottle, on a tumbler, on something that not everyone has, because you will sell them. You'll reach people. And one thing is they don't realize is a lot of females buy merch. A lot of females buy merch.
That is true.
you have to gear some stuff towards the ladies.
That is true. A lot of what was really amazed to me, and I was telling my wife this though, is like, 'cause she was the one when I dropped my first album, she was the one that was very much motivated. She, I think you should do CDs for that. And I was shocked that the very first purchases came from women. Women took it when I performed it. Women took it, they bought it. And even if the women didn't buy it outright, they made their boyfriends buy it. You know what I mean? So they made them buy it just to have it and stuff. And I actually gained a lot of fans because of that, because everything is there. They found me on social media. They found it, they joined my pages, and that's it. So yeah, correct.
So that's my issue is artists don't think before they put something out. They really don't. A lot of people just want to rush. I mean, it's because of the oversaturation of the whole culture right now. Anything that's done in the culture, everybody like this, everybody has a podcast, everybody's making music, everybody's a producer. So you really have to find your way, and you have to find a way to make yourself special. You really do.
Absolutely.
Everyone has to. But it's time to start shamelessly self-promoting and let us know where we could find you, what we got coming out. I know you just dropped a single. What? You dropped a single yesterday?
Yeah. So I released 2 albums this year. The Truth to Deny with me and Bofat. Bofat gave me opportunity, and I took it. And
shout out to Bofat, man.
Yeah, Bofat. Yeah, Bo is a guy I wanted to work with for a long while, and he gave me the opportunity, and we ended up putting together a classic, and it did really, really well. I sold my Bandcamp and my merch off of that. It was beautiful. I dropped another album called A Few Pages from the Dark Ages. Now that one was mixed, produced, and everything, and mastered in Trinidad and Tobago. My homeboys who I grew up with, they still do music or whatever. And that entire album was basically written on the concept of looking back through the different stages of life where we all holistically fell short, maybe politically, spiritually, mentally, whatever it is, and looking at all the things that we went through in life and highlighting a lot of some of the open points of politics and people and ignorance and mental illness and all that stuff in it. So I just recently released, yesterday, in fact, released that song called Speak It featuring E. Smitty, a very dope, talented brother from Atlanta. He sings and raps, phenomenal dude. And the song basically is talking about the plight of Black people, what they've been through, and basically highlighting our strength, not our downfalls, our strength. And I also released Pyramid Strength off of that album as well. And I also released another track called Out of Reach, 3 singles off of that so far. And it's been doing pretty good. I will be dropping more music from that project. I don't think I'll be releasing anything else for the rest of the year, because I really would like to let those 2 projects osmose a little more and soak a little more and let people get around a little more. I do my own visuals. I do my own videos. I've done videos for a few artists here. I've done music videos for S. I've done music videos for Donnie. I've done music videos for a few cats. Well, you know, that's one thing I've realized is a very serious Achilles heel on the underground level here, where there are a lot of artists, because their budgets are not there, they can't get access to proper visuals, right? And when you look at the pie chart of an artist, he has a song, a video, and then marketing, right? For me, I made my mind to do 2 out of the 3 and pay for the other one, which is marketing, right? Some people, they can only record the song and pay for it, and that's it. They can't do anything else. So I came up with the idea of, like, you know what? I'm going to provide a very minimalist, high quality music video for artists. I have my own branding too. It's called Len-Dor. And any artist that wants a good music video, my budgets go from between 500 and 1,500. I don't go any higher, because of the fact that one, a lot of artists don't have the money.
Right.
I've met artists who literally I had to sit down and broke up with them because they want a video done and they can't afford it. You know, so that's one of the things I would like to market more, where it's like I want to get more artists to understand, like, listen, you don't have to You can even go and look at my videos. The one I did yesterday, I did that Sunday. I work very quickly too. I work within a day, chop up, edit, boom, put together. So a lot of artists has to know that there's a outlet for them where they can get visuals done, high quality visuals done for low cost.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, a lot of artists, like you said, funding is tough.
Yep.
Funding is, and it's not just for artists, it's for producers, it's for podcasters, it's for everyone that's trying to do it now. Funding is very tough when you're independent. It really is. We've tried on our end to go different routes and with different ways of getting funding.
Right.
And it does it. It's a grind, and but you have to keep at it. You're going to have doors slammed in your face every single day, but eventually a door is going to open and it's going to work. So you got to keep grinding.
The thing I've observed a lot of artists too here too. They don't see the importance in it, Brad. Like a lot of them really think that it's a plug and play situation still. Like they don't realize that, okay, you have a song, you put it out. The way of the world right now, people are very visually stimulated and they have low patience to listen. So if you're an artist and you're trying to really capture as much airs and much sights within a 2-minute, 3-minute time span, visuals are the way to go. Because if I see a video that I like and I think it's dope, I'm going to pay more attention to the song, right? There's some artists I have heard here, they drop their music and that's all they drop. Well, guess what? I just forgot everything about your track because there's nothing else following up. There's nothing else that makes me say, oh, Brad dropped a new joint. Right, let me go on YouTube and see what he got. And then when I go and see that shit, is like nothing. Like, all right, then, well, okay, Brad, you kind of fucked up with that one because there's nothing else pushing it. So,
and they don't follow up pushing albums either. They don't follow up even pushing a single.
Leave. They drop and they leave. And what I'm starting to realize too, with a lot of artists I listen, even some of the guys you have interviewed, I've sat down and listened to some of the guys you all have interviewed as well. And some of those dudes, I respect what they do in their musically, but their online presence is not as strong as how it is. And the way how the business is right now is that everyone is about their phone. Everyone is about how quick. Oh, Brad raps. Okay, what's your Spotify? What's your thing? So
exactly. What's your link? And
click. What's your link 3? What's your link 3 at? What is what? So a lot of these dudes don't realize. I take the time sometimes when I'm on Instagram, I go into people's link trees above, and I go and I click on their link trees and I look to see, okay, when I see things like 3 bars and 4 bars, YouTube, Spotify, this and that's it. That just tells me that okay, you're not really serious about this. You know what I mean? Like even if I click on it and I click on it, I see your last video is like a year ago, or your last thing was like 2 months ago, or your last reel, or your last going live was this time. Like dudes don't realize that says a lot too, though. That's how the way how the world is right now. Everyone needs to have, especially as an artist, you have to have some type of video footprint, something that gets people to let it stick in the air and look forward for it. That's what it is.
Yeah, you have to beat people over the heads. You really do. You have to be in their face 24/7. Look at me. This is what I have for you. Take it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Come back.
And it has to be good because
there's so many facets to this game. Really is, and it takes a lot of people. Like you really need a good team. If one person tries to do everything, you're like you said, you are going to stumble along the way. You're going to find you're lacking in some area.
Yes, you would.
There's no way that any one person can do it by themselves. It's impossible.
And yeah, you have to, as I said, you have to choose, you have to divide, like you do the plan, you divide it up. What do you want to be responsible for? Like for me, I don't mix and master. I am not an engineer. My boys back home in Trinidad, I do that. Bo Fat and his team does that. Right. The most I do is record my shit and I do my visuals and I push it. I'm not unique like some guys who could do the whole thing. And that, to me, I think that burns you out.
Oh, for sure.
That burns you out. So, and it doesn't leave room for you to be creative either, though, because if you're focusing on your visuals and when you need to start to write and put some dope shit out, up here is already gone. You're tired. You're burnt out. There are days where I've edited music videos, and the next day I cannot write because my mind is already in cut, paste, move, shift, color this in that mode. So I can't click that off until the next day. You know,
Right.
so I think that's one of the things dudes needs to understand here, that you have to like invest. Like, I didn't know how to do music videos. My wife taught me how to do music videos, bro. She told me how to use iMovie, the most cliche software you could use. And then from there, I just branched off and I started learning Final Cut Pro, Dissolve, and Sony Vegas, and all these other guys. And I started learning that, and it just kept going and going. And then I have friends like, shout out to my boy Donnie Quest, who's another rapper as well. And him and I, we are big on visuals. We love videos and cameras. So, you know what I mean? That you start understanding that if you could learn these little tools, and one of the best tools you could have is this.
Yep.
My very first music video, if you go on my YouTube page, a song called Lacking, that was done on that phone. I got a gimbal, a cell phone gimbal. I bought some lights and I went to a church and I did that whole video all for a cell phone. And I edited it. Everyone responded to it and they loved it. So there's a lot of information for you out here. You just have to choose what battle you want to choose, what you want to deal with. If you want to be a person who want to pay for everything, good luck. Or teach yourself, make yourself into a company and a brand, and become of a service and let people see it in your work.
Exactly. And that's something that we try to do at the Culture Corner too. Most people don't realize, and I put it out there before, we're a marketing and advertising branch too. We do a little bit of everything because we know someone's going to need that service at some point.
Yep.
It's just like any other service industry in the United States or around the world. It's supply and demand and funding, and we get it. Everyone gets it. It's tough out there nowadays, but like you said, you have to do these things to make yourself even a small amount of success comes with a shit ton of work.
Yeah.
And a lot, and it's sad to say, but, and we all say it because we're all old heads now, but these younger dudes, and they just want they want that instant gratification. Let's do it right now and get it. It doesn't work that way. It just can't.
I will say this though. I've met some young kids here who blew my mind with some of how their grasp on technology and how to get shit done. Like, there's this one kid I met, a rapper. I forgot his name though, but seeing him maneuver through visuals and Instagram and putting himself out there, whatever it is, he taught me so much on the time to drop stuff, when to drop stuff, how to drop it, how to use your reels, when to put your reels out, the best equipment to use, to buy. Like, he really blew my mind. There's some of these young cats, bro. They know exactly what they're doing.
Because they grew up with it.
Yeah,
it's smart with their lives.
Yeah, they're hella smart with it. And those are the ones I look at a lot. There's one called Skeen. If you ever get a chance, he's on Instagram. Skeen's from Hamilton. When you watch that young boy's page and see how he markets himself, they know exactly what they're doing. So I think some of the older heads like us, we think it's a tedious task. We think it's, oh shit, to go and learn how to do this. Like, I remember the first time when I started pushing my music online and I saw other dudes how they do it, and dudes have posts every day, they're clicking every day, they're putting up Instagram posts every day, they're doing all this every day. And I would tell myself, bro, how the fuck am I gonna do that, bro? Like, how you come with these ideas? But then it started coming out naturally when you start your music, start creating that content, and you start thinking of ideas of like how you want your videos to look, how you want your reels to look, and you see other examples how to do it, and you have your cell phone and you start getting a camera and all these different things, then your ideas come. But you have to want to make that step though. And I think not just making the step, but being consistent at it too. I think a lot of dudes, when they get into it, they fall off because when they think it's a mountain journey, but like everything else in life, once you get used to it, it comes second nature. So it's like, okay, cool. I know when I get up this morning, I gotta look at this. Oh, cool. I'll do a reel about this, or I'll put a post about this, or I might just do a format link and remind people every day that this video dropped and this happened and these are all the links, all my music. Go find it. Like all these different little things. After a while, they become second nature.
For sure. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. We say that a lot. It is a marathon.
It is.
If you think you're gonna just run the 40 and that's it, that's not what this is.
No.
But we're gonna be coming to the end of the hip hop happy hour. So I wanted to say appreciate you, bro.
Thank you very much
for coming on. It's been a good time, great conversation.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be doing this again in the future because this isn't going to stop anytime soon. We're just going to keep going no matter if we got one person watching or if we have 100 people watching, because we do it for y'all, man. We do it for the artists. We do it for the fans.
We do it
so we could spread the word. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. I just thank you. Thank you very much for giving me your time. People can find the albums, both albums. You can get on my YouTube page. You get on my socials, Len-Dor. You can find it everywhere. Go on my link tree. You can find everything. You can check out the last video I dropped yesterday, which is doing pretty well, which I'm shocked is doing pretty well without any marketing. So I appreciate you all, Brad. And I really hope to be on your show again. And Godspeed, man. Godspeed.
Again, man, thank you. And to everybody watching, man, with Hip Hop Happy Hour, we out.
Peace.